Hey, what's going on? I'm L'Apprentice Damon, and in this video we're going to do a review on ActiPh, alkaline ionized water. So let's go ahead and get this poured up. This is one that people have been asking for, and it makes sense because it's alkaline, is considered ionized, and I know there's a lot of stuff on social media where people are talking about alkaline ionized water. And so if there's a bottle of it, we're probably thinking we're drinking something good, right? And right here, we're going to be comparing it to this water here, which is known as electrolyzed reduced water. Definitely on the same height. They look pretty good. All right, so the first test we're going to do is on antioxidants. And this is the most important test of the three that we're doing today. And the reason why is because we have all these things around us known as free radicals. They're in the air, they're in our foods, they're in our electronics, and what they do is they come in and they take the electrons from our healthy cells. When that happens, that creates two things: oxidation and inflammation in that cell, and that is linked to every single health disease known to man. So any type of itis you're experiencing, that's inflammation happening in the body. Okay, so we want to consume antioxidants. We deserve to consume those. And these are your fruits, your vegetables, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. And what they do is they have an abundance of electrons, and they give them those electrons to those struggling cells, and because of that, they're able to lower that oxidation, reduce that inflammation, and keep us young, right? And provide us with that being, that feeling that we all should have, right? So how do we test that? We are going to use this meter right here. This will test the oxidation potential, right? So if we see a positive number, that just means it's creating more oxidation, inflammation, and dis-ease in the body, okay? It's positively charged. If we see a negative number, that means it's a strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory water, okay? So let's see what we get here with ActiPh. Move this. Now turn it on. All right, so we are getting a positive 72, positive 80, slowly going up. So the number is low, it's pretty low, I'll give them that. However, it's a positive number now, which means it's oxidizing this, okay? And as you see, is getting up to the hundreds, okay? So this water is oxidizing, sitting around 110. All right, let's check out this electrolyzed reduced water and see if it does the same thing. Let's see what we get. Oh, all right. What are we seeing? Oh my gosh, we're seeing a negative number, right? We are seeing a negative 712, 715, all right? And it's going down, it's getting even lower, right? So this is a very, very strong antioxidant rich water. And it looks like it's hovering around 715, okay? That's where it's gonna stay. But overall, just that first test alone, we see that ActiPh is oxidizing us, right? So it's not helping us reduce that inflammation or anything. It's actually making things slightly worse, all right? Let's go ahead and jump into that next test. All right, the second test we are doing is all about alkalinity, okay? We all know that sickness and dis-ease cannot thrive in an alkaline environment, okay? And so a lot of people, when they think of alkaline waters, they think of their stomach, right? Their stomach acid, and that has nothing to do with this, okay? In fact, one of these days I'll make a video sharing how we actually shouldn't be consuming water while we're eating, right? And that's because it's diluting the stomach acid in that regard, but it's not killing the stomach acid, right? This is not gonna do anything there. This is really in regards to our blood, okay? Our blood must maintain that 7.365, and it's going to do that no matter what. The question is it going to take the alkaline minerals from you, right? So is it going to start taking it from your skin? This is how eczema happens. Is it going to start taking it from your bones, your joints, your ligaments? So this is why you're popping when you get up in the morning? Is it going to start taking it from your brain and it's going to lead to Alzheimer's, right? So, or is it taking it from the things that we're eating, okay? So that's really the question here. So we're gonna use these pH drops and put them into both of the beverages. If we get a red or orange or a yellow, we know that it's acidic, it's forcing our body to take the minerals, those electrolytes from us. in order to maintain its pH. However, if we see a negative number, or not negative number, a blue, a purple, or a dark purple, we know that it is alkaline. It is actually helping the body maintain that balance, okay? So let's see what we get here with ActiPh. All right, so no surprise here, because it's the alkaline water, it is showing up purple, right? So it's showing up as a 9.5. Both of these are doing that. So the question is, that's great that it looks alkaline. The question is it really doing what it needs to do to battle the acidity that we consume day in and day out? Is it taking care of the French fries, the hamburgers, just the pollution in the air, right? Because all those things, they bring acidity into the body, right? So we want something that's going to neutralize that. That's the whole purpose of us getting this water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it, okay? I'm actually going to blow into it, give it acidity, and if it's a strong alkaline beverage, it's going to maintain, okay? It's going to stay purple. It'll stay there for a while. It can go down if it gets a little weak. It can go down to neutral, right? So I've seen waters do that before, but if it's really faking it, then it will end up really turning acidic. Now from there we'll know that there's something up with the water, okay? So let's check out ActiPh and see what we get here. Wow, okay. I don't know what color y'all see in there. This is looking like, looks like a 6-ish, right? So let's take a look and see what this is made up of. I don't know if that's a 6 or a 5. Y'all let me know in the comments, all right? But alkaline, ActiPh. So what they did here is they took purified spring water, okay? So that's probably why it's the color it is, which is awesome. And they took a blend of electrolytes, so they added minerals in here, right? And then they ionized it, right? So the process of ionization is where you take water and you put it through an electrical charge. When it does that, it breaks the water down into smaller molecules, which is fantastic because it's better to be absorbed. We're gonna talk about that in actually just a little bit, right? So spring water, they took magnesium sulfate, sodium bicarbonate, and potassium bicarbonate to make this, all right? But as we see here, yeah, I would say this is neutral, ultimately. And so they're using the minerals and electrolysis to make it what it is, which is alkaline ionized water. The challenge with that, though, unfortunately, is that it's oxidizing, right? That first test that we did, we saw that it was actually oxidizing us. So that's cool that they're working that way. So let's take a look at this water here and see if something similar happens. Okay, all right. So, as we see here, it didn't change, right? So why is that? This electrolyzed reduced water goes through the same process of ionization. There's a big difference between these, though. The first thing is there's no minerals added to this. There's no minerals added to this, okay? This has actually molecular hydrogen, and that's the reason for the pH, okay? So this one has minerals added, so that stuff is what built in the body. That's what the doctors tell you about when they say, hey, don't consume too much alkaline water because of the minerals that builds up. So that's what they're talking about with this. And that's why this changed so quickly. The electrolysis only lasts for a few days, okay? So if you're gonna drink water that has been ionized, you want it to be something that's fresh, okay? And so this water has been here, actually, I don't even know when it was made, but most bottled waters, normally between 6 months to a year before you even see it on the shelf. So it's old water. I love that it is spring water, but adding the minerals into the water to do the ionization is great, but that stuff builds up in the body, okay? And we see it's not that strong at battling acidity because it loses that potential really quick, while this one stayed good. Right, still staying, right? So you want something that's gonna battle that acidity for a longer period of time, okay? So that concludes this test. Let's go ahead and jump into our next one. All right, on to our next test, and this one's superior hydration. One of my favorite ones because it's one thing to drink water, but it's another thing to drink it and get hydrated at a cellular level. A lot of people are drinking water and it's not hydrating them, right? It just sits in their stomach. And we don't want that. We want our water to actually get absorbed and go to work for us, okay? So how are we gonna test this? We're gonna test this by trying to make tea. And I know I sound crazy, but here's the thing. If the water is actually small enough, we're gonna be able to make tea cold, right? We're gonna be able to use cold water and make some tea. So let's go ahead and check this out. All right. So we're gonna take a tea bag. Actually, I'll just leave that there. And we are going to pretend like this tea bag is us, just dehydrated, okay? And we're gonna see if we can get some tea out of these waters, right? And this helps in so many different ways, right? Whether we're working out, whether it's some kind of physical fitness, whether it's we're taking vitamins or supplements, we want to ensure that those vitamins and supplements are getting everywhere they need to in the body so they can serve us in the best way possible. All right, let's see what happens here with ActiPh. All right, so let's see what happens here. We're gonna do a little bit of dunking around and we're getting some tea. And it's actually happening pretty quick, and that's probably part of that is because of the ionization process, right, that they did to the water. Yeah, we're getting some tea, right? It happens fairly quickly. Trying to see if it'll get any darker. And it doesn't seem to be. Like, it seems like there's a cap on it, right? So let's go ahead and try the same thing with the electrolyzed reduced water. So look at that. A much darker tea, right? And I know that you're probably thinking, you're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome, but this is even better, right? But the bag was wet the second time, so let's go ahead and try it again and see if there's any difference, right? Try it again with ActiPh. And it is roughly the same, like it hasn't changed. Right? So it looks the same as the first one. Let's take a look one more time at this electrolyzed reduced water. Look at that. So it's much darker. So this is kind of what I was talking about before about having old water, right? So when you go through the ionization process, what ends up happening is when we shock the water, just picture playing a game of pool and you're about to break. It just scatters the balls everywhere. That's what we're doing with electrolysis, right? The problem is, well, the good thing about that is there's an electric charge that keeps that water small. But what ends up happening is, over time, that electrical charge dissipates and everything clumps back together. Okay, so this is looking good. The problem though is, once again, because it's been 6 months, a year before you get this water, and it's been suffocated in the bottle, the electrical energy, the energy that's there, which is actually another great benefit to having ionized water, is gone. This is fresh, and so that's why it's stronger, it's bolder, it's making a darker tea, which in the end is going to do a better job at hydrating you at that cellular level. It's going to bring your vitamins, your nutrients to you, making it more bioavailable to the body, This is going to help out with your workouts and all that type of stuff. So there you have it there. This is, yeah, let's check this out. Look at that. So it's not necessarily the tea bag, it's the water that we're consuming, right? Wow, look at that. And we're consuming a water that's fresh, that has that electrical charge, that disassociates those molecules freshly. It's normally good for 48 to 72 hours, right? Not 6 months to a year. By then, most of that has already came back together, and now you also have the microplastic situation as well. So just want to share that. But really quick, let's do a quick recap of what we've tested so far. All right, we have tested ActiPh alkaline ionized water for 3 things. The first one was antioxidants, that we saw that even though it was low, it was oxidizing. It was sitting around a 100, maybe like 110, 115, something like that. It was oxidizing, right? Which means it's creating more oxidation, inflammation, and dis-ease in the body. The second thing we tested for was alkalinity. And in the beginning, both of these appeared, oh, I forgot to share that this showed up as a negative 700, I believe, 715. So it's making it a strong antioxidant, all right? So back to the alkalinity portion. Both of these showed up around a 9.5, right? So we wanted to see how strong they are at actually battling that acidity. When we did this, we saw that ActiPh dropped down to a 6, making it not really a strong candidate for maintaining and battling a lot of acidity at the same potential that this electrolyzed reduced water did. We also saw that it was filled with minerals, and then it went through ionization. So that's how they got their 9.5 pH. But once we actually gave it some acidity, it dropped back down to its true colors, which was a spring water, all right? Last but not least, we tested it for superior hydration. Both of these waters were actually able to hydrate us pretty well. This one went through the ionization process as well. However, it was not as dark as the electrolyzed reduced water simply because it's been bottled. And that electrical charge from the ionization that happened, it dissipates and that water clumped back together. Okay, so there you have it. That is my review on ActiPh Water. This may be probably one of the best alkaline ionized waters out there that I've tested so far, right? And the reason for that is because of that pH, and it does have the it does hydrate a little bit, right? It hydrates better than any of the other purified or spring waters. Once again, that challenges that oxidation. It's oxidizing us, right? And once again, most important test is that first one, right? So there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if there's another water you want me to test, and if you want to learn about this electrolyzed reduced water, I have a masterclass that's at the bottom link. It's either in the description or it's the first comment of this video. Check that out if you want to learn how to get this water in your hands or learn more about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.